We have deepened together as dyad practice partners. And that's invaluable, like, to really have that container. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the trust of being able to bring whatever's up for us. Like it's like, oh, this is a space that I can really explore whatever's going on. No matter how scary, no matter how ashamed I am of it. Yeah, it's and to have that experience of like, oh, wow, I really went in there, and this person was like totally with me.
Yes.
I didn't like criticize or shame or try to fix. It was just like totally there with me, present.
Yes. Yeah.
It's stunning. Yeah.
Yes.
And it totally undoes the conditioning where it's like, as young people, we had these experiences and we got like all this crap from the outside. And we're just like, oh God, never show that to anyone. Stop this from happening.
Yes.
So it's to like, oh, I can share this. Like, I don't have to run from this.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I should go and die in some hole because I'm like feeling this. It's like I
Right.
can actually be here. I can actually be related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly, I feel like it was the exact medicine that a lot of different traditions miss when they just do a lot of sitting practice.
Yeah.
And it's like the perfect way to undo relational wounding and especially developmental trauma that's happened, not just big T trauma like a car accident or a sexual assault or something, but small little incremental times where we were with someone and something happened, and then we made a conclusion in our nervous systems about how to be and how to proceed for the rest of forever. That like tying ourselves into knots can just slowly unwind with each meeting, with each little discovery in there.
And there's something about having someone holding that space of presence that makes our own sort of projections and shame projections, fear projections onto ourselves like less believable. Like, it's so difficult when we do our inquiry by ourselves often because like the conditioning is like has become unconscious. It's like so automatic. We just like things are equated together, have no business being equated together, but we don't see it because like we've just been seeing reality through this filter forever and ever and ever. And like when we're sitting with someone in presence, it's like we're kind of aware, like, oh, they're not seeing me like this. This is not.
Yeah.
This is actually like this is not true. Like it's like there's something that's. It's like having someone hold the presence for us, like allows our sort of the one that's seeing the conditioning to like have a sort of stable holding itself rather than just getting caught in I'm looking at myself through my shame, through my rejection of myself, which is so often the difficulty people get into when they're meeting these difficult places.
Right.
It's like we just go inside the shame conditioning and we're not doing real inquiry. We're just attacking ourselves and making ourselves wrong and trying to fix ourselves.
Right. Looping, trauma looping. Not able to untie our own, not able to self-regulate, not able to untie our own. Yeah.
And it's amazing how even silent presence is so powerful like that. I mean, like it really is like just you're being there without saying anything at all, just like totally there, here with me, like it just allows me to see things differently in myself.
Yeah.
It just allows me to step outside of the conditioning in these places where the conditioning would just normally just grab me, and it's just like I haven't, I'm just like lost in the woods.
Yeah, totally. And as a practice, I feel like I've gotten better and better at it too. It's like my system just like knows how to just like release things or discover things too. It's like after, there's been a good portion of digesting happening. It's a discovery. It's a, wow, this divine light is here. What is this? Like, what does it have in store for us? Oh, it's going down my leg. Oh, wow, it's really opening deep channels in my legs. Oh, wow, I feel deep strength, or whatever is on the menu. It's like we're opening together, and that field with two people, it's like it's amplified. That discovery is like we're both here for it. We're both here for it. Yes, like yes to your discovery, and when it's your turn, if we're doing that kind of a dyad, it's like yes to your discovery, feeling totally supported. Somebody like containing and like holding the space in the sense of, it's like I've got your back, and you can just go as deep into that as you possibly want to or feel called to.
Yeah. Yeah, the way that doing this again and again, like it shifts our relationship to the places that we struggle, like the difficult experiences. It's like there's sort of like this sense of like, oh, I can really trust like that I can meet this.
Yeah.
It's like it's not going to destroy me because
Yeah.
I go and sit down, I do my half hour, and I go in and like feel all this stuff that's like incredibly gnarly and like I don't know what to do, and that, and then it's the diet, that turn is over,
Yeah.
and it's like fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm totally here.
Yeah.
So it's like, so we don't have to live in terror of these places that are unresolved inside or challenge us. It's like we can actually show up for them and trust that.
Yeah, and the nervous system gets stronger and stronger relationally with one person. It's like I borrow like this container that's controlled that says like, please don't, you're not going to speak for this amount of time. And then my nervous system gets like my footing underneath me about life and about people a little bit more. And so then it can handle it more in relationship with other people, or in life it does translate more and more.
Totally. And also as the one who's holding space as well, I feel like there's a great learning that can happen from witnessing another person's process.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh wow, look at that. That's because often it's like we're so similar in the ways that we're wired and conditioned, and it's so we can see inside ourselves in a different way because of what we've witnessed with another person going inside.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the person witnessing, I feel like I get reports back from people doing diets, but that they really have the capacity to hold better space for themselves and hold space for others, which wasn't even a goal on their list, by just really not analyzing when somebody's like speaking, not going up here and being like, oh wow, that must be because it's like this. It's like you don't have a job other than benevolent, holding, and you let the other person have their experience. And I think very few people are doing that relationally. They're always in each other's, mangled in each other's business, and it's like a way of just really softening that tension of, I need to fix this person, or oh, I know what that's about, or you're this type and you're doing this. And it's like we can get so tempted to do that in casual conversation, and it's a time to be like, let's be the highest that we can be together. Let's really use this relational space.
And again, developing that trust of like, I can really be present to this. I can be present if it's showing up in your body, if it's showing up in my body. Like there's something that's like can be here and hold all this.
Yeah. How many hours of diets have you done? Like just for a sense, there's some sense of like it's a lot. We've done a lot of meeting. Such a good compliment, I think, for like meditation, because meditation, you cook in the sensations, you can like really cook in them, and it kind of amplifies them. And then you're just like, okay, and then you take this thing that you might not have just unwound in meditation, and you're like, here, like, can you hold this with me, this mess of this? Or maybe you can be really strong on your cushion, and then you come in front of someone else and you're like, oh, I shouldn't be strong in front of this person, or I shouldn't be strong in front of people, I'm a little girl, or whatever's there. And it's rewiring the whole brain, the whole body.
Yeah, I feel like the other thing I really want to emphasize is like how surprising like genuine inquiry is. Like often people, often we'll have like an idea of like, if I feel this, it means that, and we just sort of, and we imagine like when we're doing a diet, we think we already know what it is, but it's like really helpful to realize like I don't know what's there. I mean that's why it's challenging for me, because I don't know what this is. Yes. So the invitation with the inquiry with the dyad is that we're actually going to discover like real time what's arising, and allow ourselves to be surprised by like, wow, that so, and now I'm getting this image of my mother in this event, or I'm wow, I so don't think I should be feeling this right now. Like there's some
Yeah.
voice is telling me this is wrong. This shouldn't be here. You know, just like bringing all this into consciousness,
Yeah.
becoming aware of like what's happening, and like so surprised by like how it unfolds in the body.
Yeah.
Is it's stunning. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So stunning. I think what you're speaking to is innocence. Having an innocent, like almost like a child, like having an innocence, like of not knowing, of like
Yeah.
really being willing to look into something without a pretense or an agenda. And that is like a refinement process for sure. In meditation, it's a refinement process,
Yeah.
right? And it's also completely relevant.
and being
in the
curious about what's here, because it's
Yeah.
like so often we reject like the place of like that's difficult
Yeah.
for us. We're just like that shouldn't be here. I need a fix, you know. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and it's like no, you don't know what this is, you know. Like that's the
Yeah.
point, you know. Like
Yeah.
we've abandoned this place. We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like that invitation to feel into this, like okay, well let's go feel this place that we're sure shouldn't be here, you know,
Yeah.
and like let it unfold, let it open within us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it reveals a possibility, right, for real relationships that we have, like
Yeah.
you know, especially where there is that conflict and enmeshment. It's like, what's yours and what's mine, and why is this so difficult for us? It's like to like give each person space to like just go in and like see what's your experience, what's happening in there. You know, like,
Yeah.
well, you know, and then you have space to go and feel it's like so beautiful, you know, because then we're in the space together, bringing consciousness to what's going on here, really.
Yeah. It's also gotten me good at having a release of the social conditioning around relating.
Mm.
Like the fact that we can have like a few moments of silence and I can remain relaxed and you can too, that there's nothing wrong with some silence.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're born silent unless we're crying, you know, we hang out for hours in silence. It's not an emergency. It's not a,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and like the connections happening, it's deeper than the words being exchanged.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when we're holding space for each other, it's like, you know, we're so deeply connected,
Yeah.
you know, even though we're not saying anything and we're not going to say anything, but we
Yeah.
can totally feel each other. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the resonance that a child wants.
Mm-hmm.
That their mentality isn't developed in the same way, and they're like listening with all their pores for attunement.
Mm-hmm.
And we are adults that have the same nervous system, and we're you know, like, may I not seek to be loved, but to love. You know, that feeling of like, oh, if we fill these gaps, these holes that have been, you know, in our hearts and in our guts, and of places where we really weren't met, then they're filled, and then they can overflow, and then they can relate, and then they can dance. Like oftentimes in our diets, I feel like we're dancing. You know, there's just this non-doing dancing. It's like, wow, like what a discovery. Like it's like strap in, you know, or something like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also like that, the way that when we're doing the dyads, when we're inquiring, it's like we're sort of like we're interested in like what's alive here.
Yeah.
You know, like what's most alive, what's sort of calling our attention, inviting, you know, like it's, even if it's like gnarly or scary or whatever, it's like we're following that, you know. So it's like moving towards the aliveness rather than like away, which is often how we've learned to cope with our conditioning.
Yeah.
It's like shut down the aliveness, be dead, be numb, go into the patterns of the mind, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, so this capacity to meet all the aliveness in us,
Yeah.
like, means we can then actually
Yeah.
experience our aliveness. You know, we
Yeah.
can come alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and some of the best spaces and utilization of the dyad that I've done is just silent eye gazing. Just all the things that are in that room, you know, that are in this world of just that, you know? It's like So it's like pre-verbal from 0 to 2, just, and then beyond, after that conditioning. But like there's a sense of, gosh, to be in connection with the eyes, and then let the whole world be as it is, and then to fall open. It's like, wow, just to be together and to have that connection. Like, oh, you can be connected. You don't just have to like wait for like a intimate partner to be connected with one moment out of the day when you orgasm or something. It's like you can have deep connection, and this is like one of the ways that it looks to me.
Yeah. And that we don't have to be alone with anything we experience, because often the shame is like, no one's ever gonna, you don't deserve any company or love here. You're stuck, and it's like that. It's like everything, you can have company with anything.
Yeah. And I remember even like, exploring with you for a while, and it's like I remember having places that would come up, and then, there would be a little bit of, he's not going to want to dyad with me again. And then you show up again together. And then you show up again together. And you're like, wow, that's made up. That whole thing that happens is made up.
Yeah.
And, and now it's like, how much more can I love a person? Kind of, that's the edge, I just feel like that's the edge. It's like, oh, how much more can you bask in divine, connected discovery? Effervescent discovery with someone,